Okay, so your personal statement is really a story about who you are and what is motivating you to get or request that scholarship. So this is your best shot here. No matter how good somebody is writing about you, it doesn't matter how good is your GPA, this is what's gonna get you the scholarship. The other documents are usually just supporting this. If this is not a good one, I'll tell you this, you can have a 4.0 GPA and it's unlikely that you're gonna get the scholarship. Because likely most people who apply for the scholarship you're applying, they also have all the requirements. That means the GPA is also high because that's part of the requirement. Or if you have a documented disability, the person has a disability too, otherwise you won't be applying for. Right? So this is what's gonna make a difference. Now I'm gonna tell you how you're gonna write a good one. First of all, you will look for the requirements of their scholarship. Often they tell you exactly what you need to say. You have to read in details what you're supposed to write about it. And do not assume anything. And I'm gonna explain why. So let's say that this scholarship is for Latino students only. You have to be Latino in order to apply for this scholarship, to be eligible for this scholarship. So you write your personal statement, nowhere you talk about being a Latino. Guess what? Chances are you're losing points. The way they usually identify the recipients, the people who will receive the awards, are by a rubric. Have you heard about rubrics? Have you heard? Rubric? So here, page, there's no number, but I'll show you. Here, it's a sample of a rubric. This is this is titled on scholarship consideration. So this is an example of one of the scholarship rubrics. So then what they do, they give you points for each of the requirements. Like for example, is the person sincere? And I can have 1, 2, 3, and 5 points. Based on when I read your essay, do I feel like you being sincere? And I give you 1 to 5. And here it gives some ideas of how contribute, and try and feel honest about it when I read. So besides having like a perfect grammar and a good essay, you have to consider many other things when you're writing. You want to be personal. You want to talk about your issues and why you need that. Because otherwise, you're just a random person asking for a scholarship. So you want to give you some of the background, some of your struggles. Usually, the people who are evaluating a scholarship, they will remove the name, give you the essay, and give you rubrics for people to give points. So you didn't talk about being a Latina, and it was one of the requirements. And his option was a person a Latina, and you got 0, even though you are a Latina or Latino, but you didn't write about it. Let's say the requirements for the GPA was a 3 and above. Did you talk about your GPA inside of your personal statement and how you got the GPA? If you didn't, you probably are losing some points. Did you talk about your goals? It's important to talk about how you got to the point where you're at. It's like past, present, and future. And write it down, this is very important. You talk about your past, you talk about your present, and the future. Past, how did you get to where you're at? What kind of struggles you have? Present, what is happening right now? What are you trying to overcome at this time? And future, usually individuals who are given scholarships, they want you to give back. So you want to talk about how you're going to give back to your community. So you may say, you know, after I graduate, I want to serve underrepresented students by providing A, B, C, and D. I want to volunteer to speak to other people how I was able to achieve this goal. And try to write focusing on what they are asking about. So if I am, for example, applying for a scholarship for underrepresented students, I want to try to say that first of all, if they want to give money to people who are underrepresented, that means they have a passion for that. So you're going to write about how you are going to give back to those unrepresented students, underrepresented students. Because they are giving to you and they want you to also move forward with the same thing that you're getting. It's like you are thankful for what you got and you are going forward with it. Be personal. Talk about details that can be sometimes emotional. We are all humans. Even the people who are reading, you know, they are reading your paper, they got, oh my God, that happened to her, she really needs, or he really needs this. So be personal. Be concise. Don't say the same thing more than once. And that's what I talk about, being concise. Usually the scholarships have a limit of words. And you said once, you move on and say something else. Because every single thing you say can give you points. If you repeat the same thing, like I'm sometimes repeating you here, because I want you to get that, but over there, they don't need you to repeat. They want you to say once and say something else, because you get points in the next option. Be very honest about it. Don't create things that are not true. And I'll give you an example that real happened. I was part of a committee and we are making decisions about somebody, a group of people, and this person wrote about an event that she volunteered. Guess what? One of the members of the committee was responsible for that event that she said she volunteered.
So
she lied, and she lost her opportunity just because of that. She didn't, and she was a very high candidate in the position, but she lied about volunteering for that position, for the event. And the person was just the person was the organizer for the event, and she really didn't volunteer. So be honest, because you don't know who is reading this, and they may know you or may know what you're talking about. Also, this is not about your mother or your child or your father. I read a lot of them. My mom was my best mentor, and she did this, she did that, and she overcame this and this barriers. Great. Is your mom going to receive this scholarship? No. Unless you're talking about how it's impacting you, don't talk about it. It's not about somebody else, it's about you. You can say, you know, my mom is my mentor, and because of her, I learned this, and that, and I am applying all this to A, B, C, and D. Don't talk all the great things your mom are doing or did in the past. You talk about how you are applying whatever you're doing. I read this a lot. My mom, my father, my child, well, they can't help you with this scholarship, sorry.